welcome to our session. We are so excited that you are here with us today. Our session title is Yes and Techs and Librarians, a match made in School District Heaven.
Our presentation today will showcase our working model of library teachers and technicians engaged and working together to create success within our school district. We hope this can inspire your success as much as evaluating ourselves has led us to reflect and redesign on some of our own processes to work towards our own definition of success here.
So, what was our motivation behind this? We applied and we wanted to think, what is our why in our business? Now, if this sounds familiar, then Dan isn't the only Simon Sinek fan in this session. We believe it's important to begin a design or a redesign of a system by thinking about the motivation behind it. Now, our motivation is the people. We work with people, not just technology.
To introduce ourselves, I'll kick us off. My name is Dan Lewandowski. I'm here in the School District of La Crosse in La Crosse, Wisconsin on the glorious Mississippi River. I have been in the district about 21 years already, and this, as I counted my t-shirts this morning, is my 10th JNUC, I believe.
That is amazing. My name is Carrie, and I am a teacher librarian at an elementary school here in La Crosse, and I absolutely love it. This actually will be my first conference experience with JNUC, so I am pretty excited, especially as it will be in person and virtual.
The School District of La Crosse, as I said, is in La Crosse, Wisconsin on the mighty Mississippi River. We are comprised of 16 school buildings, which include 9 elementary schools, 3 middle school buildings, and 3 high school buildings. We have a new online, 100% online school, which brings its own challenges with it, but brings us the opportunity to work with 14 library teachers and 5 support technicians. As we all know, it takes a village to make it all work, and that certainly is the case here.
So here's a little bit about us and our history. We have been Jamf MDM since 2010. We have approximately 9,600 devices within our district. We have Apple TVs, iPads, and Macs with a combination of desktops and laptops. Our original server was an original Mac Mini, and our first iPads on our JSS were 3rd generation iPads, and there were about 400 of them.
Which really seemed like a lot back then. Next slide. All our devices that are in the JSS or Jamf now, is our 2020 MacBook Air laptops on a lease cycle that is a 4-year lease, along with the 7th gen iPads. We also support around 200 Apple TVs. They are broken out into classroom sets in preschool, usually 5 per classroom for us. Kindergarten through 8th grade is 1-to-1. Our high school students get MacBook Air laptops, and teachers in our school district get teacher MacBook Airs and iPads assigned to them. Teacher assistants in our school district get iPads for their use with our students and to do their work, and our shared iPads and MacBooks in every library, along with iMac labs and other devices in special ed situations and classrooms. Our technology services staff, which does include me, is comprised of a director of information technology. We have 2 network engineers that help make everything work and work together, 2 assistant managers, 6 support technicians, which is my immediate group, and 1 great administrative assistant who helps keep everything organized in our office. Big shout out to Stacy for keeping us all going and moving forward.
So let's talk a little bit about libraries. So as library teachers, we are the first line of support. We're in the school buildings all of the time. We are lucky enough to have 1-for-1 for each school building. So if a student or a staff member has a problem with their device, they come directly to the library for help. Now, sometimes we can solve the issue. Other times, we have to restart it. And when that doesn't work, we call the help desk.
The help desk here is in our district is managed and staffed by 5 technicians who work throughout the week and take a day. My day is Tuesday. Tuesdays are great days, or they can be not so great days. But staff can call us at a phone number where we can answer the phone to solve a lot of the more common questions remotely. A lot of the common tools that we use while we're in this role is of course Jamf Remote. We use Jamf in the web, screen sharing, Apple Remote Desktop, and Google Chat. For our help desk ticketing system, we use Incident IQ, which we just switched to for our ticketing and inventory system. It has already proven that it works well with Jamf, and it integrates with Jamf to maintain inventory of our assets, both unenrolled and enrolled. But the name doesn't really roll off my tongue yet. I'm not used to saying it.
Dan, quick question for you. Can you do help desk only from our administrative building, or can you do help desk anywhere?
No, I'm fortunate that the phone system allows me to sign into the help desk phone from just about anywhere. So I can be at the library at Hamilton Elementary School, I could be in one of our high schools, or I could be at JNUC 2022 performing help desk support. But I'd probably rather not do that, as I want to maintain focus here.
Right. Good call.
Next slide.
So this is a slide of some of our resources. As library teachers, we got together and we thought, how can we better assist our students and staff? So here's one example specifically for our staff, and it is a Google resource or Google site that we created and we maintain with the help of our technicians. And we just came up with those quick problem solving, troubleshooting. If you need this, if you need that, this is where you can go. So a lot of times when we have a problem, let's say with our ClearTouch interactive display panels in the elementary school, they say they need to be updated. So instead of me going and updating all within our school building, I send them a link to this site, which is, in my opinion, a fantastic resource that I can just kind of say like, hey, this is what you need to do. And this is what you need to do your computer. Another resource that we created that we were talking about was Dan and I put together an iPad. We call it a boot camp. So it's that first time you get an iPad, these are the different home buttons. This is the button that you turn on. This is how you make a screenshot. And also a little bit of digital citizenship to make sure that the kids not only understand the device itself, but how to use it correctly in this year of 2022. So that was a collaborative idea between the technicians and the librarians.
Yes, and I would just like to add on that even though it was born out of necessity, maybe very impromptu necessity from the spring of 2020, this resource center has really proven itself to be something worth keeping around, and that people have found to be a great resource every day since it's been there. Kudos to everybody who's worked on it.
So as I mentioned, I'm in an elementary school and as a teacher librarian, and these are some of our common questions. I reached out to all 14 of the librarians within the district because I really, when preparing this, we wanted to see like, what kind of questions are you getting? Most of them revolve around the iPad because we're one-to-one with the iPads in the elementary. So guided access, students will put a passcode on without actually knowing or remembering the passcode. Maybe the iPad screen's not working. Should I update my OS? Does it need an update? What's going on? OS or iOS. And then there's a pop-up, what should I do? And then we do have some questions with our Clear Touch interactive display panels, which we got a couple years ago. And then unfortunately the pandemic happened and we weren't using them. So now we're back in the building and just kind of figuring all of that out. Then moving on to middle school, their common questions, once again, they're one-to-one with iPads. So iPad issues, troubleshooting apps, and then also they have Apple TVs and projectors in their room. So that's another kind of troubleshooting that the librarians do. Which finally leads us to high school. They are currently, we're year 3, is that right, in our 4-year lease?
I believe so.
So they currently have MacBooks. So think of any kind of issues you could have with that. Sometimes the kids leave their MacBooks at home, so then they have to come to the library to use a desktop computer. They want to know why such and such isn't working. And another popular question is, we can't sign in or I can't access a website. And while we were preparing, I also thought it would be fun to find out those wildest questions, right? Like, what kind of questions do you get? So this is my favorite from another elementary librarian, Amanda. She had a staff member in her building ask her about how to do taxes and would she do her taxes for her. So I thought that was kind of a unique question. Other questions are, do you know my password? Parents trying to log into a student's device using their personal information. Questions about personal phones. Dan, in the future, a couple slides are going to talk about a program that he started, and we'll talk more about those Android issues. And then also asking for help reconnecting a workstation after incorrect use of an adjustable height desk. I don't know much about this. So, Dan, is there anything you can tell us about this specific wild question?
I've seen it firsthand, so I suspect that it might not have happened to just one person.
Oh.
So luckily, no one was hurt in the incidents that I've been witness to, and everything got resolved without any issues.
No issues. No names.
No
mentioned.
names. No names. It could happen to anyone.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Which leads us into what the technician's work looks like. Techs in their office, as I mentioned before, rotate through the help desk on their given day, as well as have work outside of the help desk where obviously we can do our office work. But on help desk days, our work does include, as it probably does in your place, setting up new devices. Families in our district, as they probably do in everyone else's, they come and go, people move. Setting up new devices in a timely manner is very essential for us. So setting up new devices is at the top of the list. Support via phone and remote tools, as we mentioned before. We get a lot of questions that we're luckily able to answer using the remote tools that we have at our access, that we can solve things usually within 5 or 10 minutes over a phone call to get people going again. This, of course, leads to updating the help desk tickets as they come in and we work through them, and other. We have all kinds of other. It can vary from running up and helping someone connect something in a presentation room, or it can be something as someone needs help carrying something in, or helping move furniture. It really can vary when you're at the help desk at the admin building.
Or live streaming a band concert.
Or who knows what else could happen on those days. And that is the fun of it.
That is the fun of it. That's one thing about being a library too. Library teacher, I should say, or librarian, is that you never know what that person's walking in the door, what they're going to want, right? Do they want the newest dog man? Do they have a tech issue? Do they just want to sit and talk, right? Are they just looking for a quiet space? So that's one good thing about being a library teacher. One thing we didn't mention at the beginning of our session is that 2 of our schools within our district are on the 45-15 calendar, which are year round. So when Dan, you mentioned setting up new devices, I feel like as soon as we're done in June, the new school year for 2 of those schools starts in July. So it's a constant you think you might have the summer break or those 3 months. In reality, there isn't that break. You're going from June to, okay, we have to transition and be ready for everything in July.
True. And that definitely is a collaborative effort, because as people move and come and go, especially in between middle school and elementary schools, we rely and look and work well with building staff and our library teachers to kind of make sure that everything gets where it needs to go.
I mean, the first day of school was July 16th, and we spent 3 days, Dan and I, going from calling people and going from building to building to make sure that all of our students that were ready to go within our school district had their devices and they were ready. Now, you also mentioned that we have 100%, we call it CRVA, virtual school.
Mm-hmm.
How has that affected your outside calls to the help desk?
I would say that outside calls starting in March of 2020 really scared me. I've relied heavily on the caller ID and knowing who is going to be calling. And when it just says outside calls, I get a little nervous. Though it's different, we are lucky that we are able to resolve a lot of those problems remotely. Because people understandably aren't always glad that they have to call us, but we're all glad when we're able to resolve that solution, whether it be someone's parent, whether it be a parent, a grandparent, an aunt, uncle, or whoever is calling us at that line to get support from us. What did I do? Which brings me into text in the building. Text in the building is a great thing, really. It's my favorite thing is actually getting out of my office space and going into other people's places and schools and seeing what they do and helping them do it. So in our district, we're all assigned different buildings for different days. Tuesday's my help desk days. I see Carrie. I'm lucky enough to see Carrie every Wednesday, and we go there and we work on tickets and all these other things. And it's really been a great experience. I would say that one thing that leads to great collaboration and success for us is having a space for a technician to land in the building someplace. For us, it works great to land in the library, so they're with the library teacher, kind of the center of the building. I would say that technicians thrive and are more successful if they have Ethernet and power near this space.
And the number of people, Dan, who ask me, like, when is Dan coming? When is Dan coming? Is Dan here? And I say, Dan's day is Wednesday. And they're like, oh, it's not Wednesday. And I was like, then you can put in a help desk ticket. And they're like, oh, I'll do that. And when Dan comes, call me so I can come talk to him. So they just love Dan Day.
You're going to make me blush.
Oh, you deserve it.
Moving right along. Taking things to the next level. For us, that meant a lot of things going beyond the basics. We started by utilizing the tools in front of us, which for us, a lot of times is Jamf. Our front office staff uses Jamf to do such things as lost mode. We do certain groups, smart groups, and reports for them so they can keep an eye on things in their building. We utilize the sites feature inside of Jamf to manage access for the people in these buildings. One of our most popular reports that we utilize is our last inventory report, as it's known around here, which basically is letting us know if a device hasn't checked into Jamf in X amount of days. This helps alleviate a lot of problems up front with lost equipment or equipment that just isn't working. Just Ask Tech, as Carrie mentioned before, it once began as Just Ask Dan, but has moved forward and has really proven itself for anybody on the technical staff. And it's worked well as a program to go out and work with staff one-to-one directly, usually later in the day, as everyone has very busy instructional days, and meet with people on a one-to-one basis to kind of decipher questions that they may have that they don't know how to put into a work order or a help desk ticket, or maybe they have a question about something that they don't know what category it fits in. There's usually a lot of treats and there's usually a lot of questions. It's a good time. Though the first time that this ever happened, I would say that the treats went way more quickly than the questions got asked. And a lot of the questions were about Android phones, which I really could not help a lot of people with. But they enjoyed the candy. So it was a great start to the program, and it seems to be really working for us.
And I think it's a great idea because, number one, it's that relationship builder, right? Like, we're not in it for the technology. We're in it for students and staff. We're here to make them more successful with the technology and more comfortable with it. And so if they're able to do that with you and you've already have that friendship and relationship, I'm telling you, someone walks into the library and Dan's there and their face just is exploding with a smile because Dan knows everyone. And you can tell Dan when they walk in what they want, right? Like, do they have a severe issue? Do they have a tiny issue? Do they just have a wondering, you know?
A lot of times, yes. And sometimes just the time of day will kind of give you a clue as to what someone may be asking, which is, it's just part of that relationship building, as Gary mentioned again. And it just makes problem solving for everybody go a lot easier.
And as we were preparing for this, we talked about also turning that just ask a tech or ask a tech into maybe like a 5-minute, 10-minute as part of a staff meeting, because you never know what you don't know, right? It just takes one person to get up in a staff meeting or in a large meeting or a group and say like, hey, how do I do this? And everyone's like, oh, I have that problem, or I need help with that. You know, it's just that being in the building and being available, accessible. I love it.
Yeah, I love it. The open communication just is easier when everyone is on the same page, and at least are comfortable with each other, so that no one has that feeling of this is going to be a dumb question,
right,
or that they don't want to ask it in front of anybody else. It leads to a lot of problem prevention in that way also.
Right.
We've already kind of talked about the integration of text. Physical tech space in the office or in the school building. Yeah, probably can't say it enough. A workspace with Ethernet and power really go a long way in the lives of a tech that visits the building.
Location, location, location.
Location, location, location. Next slide. As I mentioned before, we customize our solutions for building staff, which include using sites and inside of Jamf to enable staff in the front office to use things like Lost Mode, Smart Groups, and get reports out of Jamf. One of my favorite things to do, relationships help guide solutions for staff. One of my favorite things to do is to work on a teacher with, or any staff member with a problem that I haven't seen before. But like we already mentioned, being comfortable with that person really lets both of you explore without feeling intimidated by anybody. Demoing new hardware and software together with the help of the library teacher, because it, as we said before, librarians end up being the frontline support, and we don't want to lean on them too much, but because they're always in the physical space, they're kind of always going to be in everyone's view first. So I love whenever something happens and I have a chance to work with Carrie and other library teachers to help demo things, share the knowledge with people, and have a demo or even just a Q&A session on things that people are experiencing in their buildings.
I mean, it helps us too.
Yes.
100%, because even though we are that first line, to be able to have that knowledge that we don't have just makes us stronger together. And I think a lot of times too, we get lumped together because we have the same supervisor. So the supervisor of technology is also the supervisor of libraries. So we do kind of get happily grouped together.
Yes. Demoing new hardware is a great thing, especially doing it as a group. I go farther back than I care to mention. Today, it's interactive panels. Yesterday, or it feels like yesterday, it was podcast producer and the new wiki here. And I don't have a great segue for that, I hope.
Did you mention something with the docu camera?
Well, the document camera used to be really a new thing.
Oh, okay.
And people used to really like to gather around and demo a document camera together. And it may seem like a simple thing, but it was very new at one time for everybody. And so, yeah, it's just always fun to do those new things. Next slide.
So I reached out to all the library teachers and to the technicians, and I said, like, hey, tell me about how you feel about our relationship with the techs and the librarians. So this next slide is called the Accolade slide. So these are direct quotes from our team members that talk about our relationship. And honestly, I wanted to put this to music and have it beautiful in the background because it's very phenomenal, right? Like the words that they shared about our group and what we mean together really was beautiful.
Yeah, I would say so. A lot of kind words from a lot of kind people.
Let's get started. So I love learning about shortcuts and ways to use technology in my teaching.
We are on the same team and work together to figure out problems. He's my go-to when I need help, and he's so knowledgeable. Which could be anyone on the team.
Yeah, he.
Right. He.
When you have a well-developed relationship, you are willing to work together to solve problems and find solutions.
Open and honest conversations about how to improve processes that help our teachers and students, which I think we've touched on, but it's nice to hear it again.
Mm-hmm. I think all of the district techs are helpful, knowledgeable, and easy to work with. This is special because none of the techs make me feel bad or dumb for asking for help.
Nice.
It is nice.
Slide. If you have a real relationship with a tech, they know your skills and appreciate them. There's camaraderie and trust. Couldn't agree with it more. It does.
We bring different strengths to the relationship. I am a teacher with a lot of ideas, and the tech helps me to figure out how to make the tech piece work.
The impromptu creating of solutions while in a school building, which sometimes it feels like they're all impromptu. But therein lies the joy.
So, how do we do better now? Now you know, and knowing is half the battle. This is about us taking it to that next level, that next step. We don't want to just be okay. We want to be exceeding expectations. So how do we expand our knowledge and share information? It starts off with us reevaluating, reflecting, talking amongst ourselves, making us a stronger team, doing this and hearing from others within our same education field, building those relationships, communicating with staff. We've talked about a podcast that you're creating with another technician, a blog, a vlog, those Just Ask Dans or Just Ask a Tech, stepping into a staff meeting. What more can we do to be the best version of ourselves for our students and staff of the School District of La Crosse?
I think it's always an important question to ask. I think it's always great to come back to it and ask it. And now, thank you. We're at the end of our presentation today. Thank you for being here. I've been Dan. Feel free to reach out to me on Twitter. I'm not on there as often as I will, but I promise I will do better and respond to anybody that finds me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is listed on the slide presented here, or reach out to me at the email address listed there to carry this conversation forward.
And I just want to say thank you also. My name is Carrie, and I am a teacher librarian in the School District of La Crosse. Reach out to us. We would love to hear your feedback about how either you feel like you could use what we talked about today, or how we could do better. Because once again, it's that reevaluating and renewing and just making sure that we are the best that we can be for our students. Thank you.